Hello everyone, my name is Khan. Today our subgroup topic is Freud's psychoanalytic theory. What is psychoanalytic theory? Psychoanalytic theory, using this as a lens of human behavior, we or see as having sexual and aggressive drives that guide our actions. Our behaviors is therefore is deterministic, governed by irrational forces and intellectual. Because of this, psychoanalytic theories don't believe in free will. Psychoanalytic theory of personality segment Freud level of awareness, components of personality, defense mechanisms, psychosexual states, cortisms, and take-home message. Sigmund Freud's 1856–1939 is considered to be the founder of psychodynamic approach to psychology, which look to unconscious drive to explain human behaviors. Freud believed that the mind is responsible for both conscious and unconscious decisions that it makes on the basis of psychological drives. Psychological drives, ID, ego, super ego, are the three aspects of mind Freud believed to encompass a person. Personality, Freud believed peoples are simply actors in the drama of their own minds, pushed by desires, pulled by coincidence. Underneath the surface, our personalities represent the power struggle going on deep within us. The ID, ego, and super ego are a set of their concepts in psychoanalytic theory, describe distinct interacting agents in the psychic approaches. The level of consciousness, there are three levels of conscious, what we are thinking about our experience at any given moment, and preconscious, what we can readily call to conscious, like memories, knowledge. Unconscious, thoughts, desires, and impulses of which we're not aware. This is the largest level of conscious. A structural model of psyche. The three agents are theoretical constructs that describe the activities and interaction of the mental life of a person. Ego psychological model. ID. ID is a set of uncoordinated intellectual desire. Ego is the organized, realistic agent that mediates between the intellectual desire of the ID and the critical superego. And superego plays the critical and moralizing rules. Freud's explanation this theory, the functional importance of the ego is manifested and the fact that normally control all the approaches to mortality develop within each. Thus, in its relation to the ID, the ego is like a man and a horse back who has hold in check the superior strength of the horse, with this difference that the riders tries to do with us own strength. Will the ego uses bird forces. The analogy may be carried a little further. Often a rider, if he is not to be parted from his horse, is obliged to guide the horse where it wants to go. So in the same way, the ego is in the habit of transforming the idea will into action as if it were its own. And psychic apparatus, psychical apparatus, mental apparatus. The term psychic apparatus denotes a central theoretic construct of Freudian's meta-psychology, wherein intake and processing of informations take place and thereby act as unsaid informations is pursuit of pleasure by way of resolving tensions through the reactional restore of intellectual impulses. Resistance in psychoanalysis refers to optional behavior when an individual's unconscious defense of the egos are threatened by an external source. Criticisms, personal analytics, and
Hi. I will begin with the psychosexual stage. We have five stages. First one is oral stage and anal stage and latency stage and puberty stage. You can say Felix stage. Let's begin from oral stage. It's from birth to 1 year. In the first stage of psychosexual development, the libido is centered in baby mouth. During the oral stage, the baby gets much satisfaction from putting all sorts of things in its mouth is satisfy the libido and thus its ID demons. Let's go to another second stage. It's anal stage. It's from 1 to 3 years. During the anal stage of psychosexual development, the libido become focused on the anus, and the child derives great pleasure from different. And the third stage, it's Felix stage. It's from third year to 6 years. The Felix stage is the third stage of psychosexual development, and spanning the age of of 3 to 6 years, wherein the infant's libido centers open their genitalia as the ergonomous zone, and to fourth stage, it's latency stage. It's from 6 years to puberty. The latency stage is the fourth stage of psychosexual development, spanning the period of 6 years to puberty. During this stage, the libido is dormant, and no further psychosexual development takes place. Latent means hidden. And we can say gentle stage. It's puberty to adult. The gentle stage is the last stage of Freud's psychosexual theory of personality development, and begins in puberty. It is a time of adolescent sexual experimentation, the sexual resolution of which is settling down in a loving one-to-one relationship with another person in our
With dependency or aggression, oral fixation can result in the problems with drinking, eating, smoking, or nail biting. The second stage is the anal stage. It ranges the age from 1 to 3 years, and the zone is bowel and the bladder control. During the anal stage, Freud believed that the primary focus of the libido was on controlling bladder and bowel movements. The major conflict at this stage is toilet training. The child has to learn to control their bodily needs. Developed this control leads to a sense of accomplishment and the independence. According to Freud, success at this stage is depend upon the way in which the parents approach toilet training. Parents who utilize praise and rewards for using the toilets at the appropriate time encourage positive outcomes and help children feel capable and productive. The third stage is the phallic stage. The zone is genitals. Freud suggested that during the phallic stage, the primary focus of the libido is on the genitals. At this age, children also begin to discover the During this stage, the children also begins to discover the difference between male and the female. Freud also believed that boy being to view their fathers as a rival for the mother's affection. The Oedipus complex describes these feelings of wanting to possess the mother and the desire to replace the father. However, the child also fears that he will be punished by the father for this feeling of fear. Freud term castration anxiety. The term Etra complex has been used to describe the similar set of feeling experienced by young girls. Freud, however, believed that girls' instant experiences panics envy. And the fourth stage is the stage of puberty that is also known as the superego continues develop while the id energies was supposed, and the age is 6 year to the puberty, and the age is from 6 year to the puberty. During this stage, the zone is sexual feelings as are inactive. The superego continues to develop while the ID's energies are suppressed. Children develop social skills, values, and relationships with their peers and adults outside of the family. The development of the ego and superego contribute to this period of clam. The stage begins around the time that children enter into school and become more concerned with per relationships, hobbies, and other interests. And the fifth phase is the genital phase or the genital stage that starts from puberty to the death and maturing sexual interest. The onset of puberty causes the libido to become active once again. During the final stage of psychosexual development, the individual develops a